Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for July 24th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to lead off with a book that I just kept missing.
Yeah.
Last month, basically what happened was Salvador was in here with us, my girlfriend's son, and he saw it on the top of my stack, and he grabbed it and went off and read it. And then when we sat down to do it, I was like, something feels like it's missing.
Yeah.
And then later I was like, oh, we totally missed the book. So I'm looking at leading off here with the Green Team, Team Trillionaires number 3. I can't believe it took us 3 issues to finally get to this book. Obviously, we are big fans of Art and Franco. Art, friend of the show. It's been pretty cool so far. I kind of like it. I like the idea of the trillionaires who are trying to do something and trying to do good. I haven't read The Movement, but I've obviously drawn to this book because of Art and Franco. So I like it. I like the idea that Art is finally writing something in the DC proper. That's pretty cool.
And, a lot of people may not realize that actually is a very old DC concept.
Oh, is it? I did not realize
Not
that.
necessarily this expression of it, but the Green Team, I think it was like a Joe Simon thing.
Really?
From way back. So, yeah, this isn't actually something new.
Okay.
This is kind of DC mining their huge catalog of 75 years of characters. I mean, they don't need to come up with a new character. They could just keep going back and pulling stuff that there's probably like 4 people alive who read the Green Team back then, but
right.
But yeah, they're actually just resurrecting some old ideas, which I think is a cool idea.
That is a cool idea. And I guess that's what the New 52 is.
Yeah.
They're trying to make what was old new again.
Yep.
Next up, I'm looking at New Avengers. This is another prelude to Infinity. This is issue number 8. I've been enjoying this book. I mean, I am curious to see how they're going to mash the two Avengers books together. Like, at what point do they meet, and how does it get into the whole Thanos thing?
Yeah, I'm not seeing how any of this ties into what I thought Infinity was going to be. So maybe Infinity's not going to be quite what I expected, which is good.
But Hickman, he knows what he's doing. He always kind of makes these things work, and so I'm looking forward to it. And we've got the Inhumans on the cover of this. Always been a big fan of Black Bolt. I like those Inhumans characters. I don't know what it is that draws me to them, but they're very like that mid to late 60s Marvel. Like they have that, that feel to them.
They're
really
getting
like
their own book apparently, and
I heard that.
And
who's doing that?
Bat Fraction.
Fraction's doing it. Okay.
So yeah, that could be good, and an event. Sort
okay.
of tying in with the next event after Infinity is going to tie in with the Inhumans.
Well, I'm sure they're going to be in this event. So
yeah.
And if it's going to be kind of galactic, you can't really have one of those cosmic stories and not have.
And I wonder if that doesn't mean that there might be a movie somewhere.
Probably.
Even though the Inhumans, if they're Fantastic Four related, they may be Fox, but if they're considered on their own.
If they can, well, and that's the thing. If Fox uses them first, then I think they're good to go. But because they've had so much impact and they've done things in their cosmic arm, and they're now starting to do that with Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel can probably try and rush it and say, nope, it's ours. Back off. Yeah. And that seems to be what's happening now. Is they're just trying to rush characters into movies and go, hey, back off.
This is ours.
Good
for them.
Agreed, because I want to see a big universe. I don't know how Age of Ultron is going to work as a movie, but
well, I guess they're just using the title.
Is it okay?
It's not the plot; they just like the name. It is a good
title.
All
right, it is a good title. If you're going to introduce Hank Pym and you're going to set us up for Ant-Man, and that's what you're going to do. Now they're saying Thanos is they're saving him up for Avengers 3 because I guess Jaimin Hansu sort of spilled the beans that he's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
We'll see.
Like, hey, what is your character supposed to do? Oh, I'm allies with Thanos, and everyone went, ooh.
Well, Thanos' daughter is in it, so it's not that hard to stretch. But yeah, who knows? Well, who knows? I would not be terribly surprised if Thanos is still not connected to Avengers 2.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Next, I'm looking at Hawkeye Annual number 1. So looks like this might involve Kate, the chick Hawkeye there. This is a really cool book. I do dig it. Who's doing the artwork here? I
think this is Javier Pulido.
Is that okay? They've had several different artists, and it all still has that same feel to it. And I like that. It's a very classic sort of look, and I dig it. It's a cool book. Really, really cool book. Apparently, Hawkeye won Best Book at the Forces, San Diego, the Strike Force Forcey Awards. So we discussed, I don't know if that's the best title of the year, but it's a pretty darn good one.
I voted Manhattan Project.
On a write-in.
On a write-in.
All right, then we've got The Hunger, number 1. This is by Joshua Hale Fialkoff, who was doing the iVampire over DC. And
that's right.
I guess he had some kind of falling out with them, and here he is over here. This is spinning out of the Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
This is Galactus has been shot into some parallel dimension.
He's in the Ultimate Universe.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, for sure. Okay.
Yep.
Because in the beginning it just says some parallel universe or whatever, and so I guess we'll see how it works. Because we did see what Spider-Man or some of the characters kind of looking at him coming, but I don't know if we're really seeing that for sure. But I don't know. It's a Galactus story. I'm in. I've always enjoyed Galactus. Then I've got Batman Superman #2. Admittedly, I haven't read the first one yet, but I just like the idea of the Legends of the World's Finest. Mm-hmm. I always have. I've enjoyed the Batman Superman team ups, and I like Jay Lee as an artist.
Great artwork by Jay Lee.
I think it definitely looks different for Batman and Superman. I mean, two such traditional characters. And then, here we've got him. Now, it looks like we've got no underwear Superman fighting blanky jeans Superman. That's kind of weird. So, Commando Superman versus
Pants and no pants.
Yeah, there we go. Well, the one's got pants, just no underwear on the outside. And neither does the other. He's got jeans and a blankie. And
they have announced that Batman Superman or Superman Batman is going to be the next DC movie, DC Comics movie.
Now, is it the next? I thought they were doing Superman.
No, this
2
is
first.
This is in place of a Superman.
Oh, it is now.
Yep.
Okay. I heard it was a little while.
Justice League, because the next one is Superman Batman, and then supposedly Justice League. So they're slowly building. You got one guy, then you're going to have 2 guys, then you're going to have 5 guys.
I had read that they were just going to slip Batman into Man of Steel 2. Then they were going to do the Batman versus Superman.
No,
and
the way I heard
the
it
Justice League in there.
was that one is 2015, and then like 2017 for Justice League.
Okay.
And possibly Flash after that.
That would be cool.
Of course, their plans change every year or every new movie. So
they're going to see where the money's at, and then they're going to do that.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the Dark Knight movies made $1 billion. Superman only made $600 million. So they have to put Batman in there to try and get
but Batman had longer legs. And again, honestly, it's the same reason we got Venom in that Spider-Man 3. What's his name? Avi Arad says, well, I had to sit Sam Raimi down and show him all the emails from the fans that really wanted Venom. Yeah, because those jerks write emails. The larger group of people that didn't want it, and didn't say anything. So Sam's already said he doesn't want it either. He's not going to do it. So now, honestly, it's just the whiny Batman fans. That's right, I said it. I don't know how clear I've been on this show, but I'm not a Batman fan. And I think Batman fans are whiny, and I'm just saying it. Because we talked about this earlier. Batman fans are always going, well, but it's Batman. He can do whatever he wants. It's Batman. So you don't like Superman because he's too powerful. You don't like Superman because he's too powerful, but it's just a matter of fact that Batman can clearly be Superman because, well, it's Batman. So Batman is actually the thing that you hate, not Superman. And that's why I hate Batman. And I think Batman fans are like Red Wing fans. Anyway. So, Harbinger #14.
Segways are for kids.
I really like this book. It's getting kind of cool and weird. They're still putting it in the whole Harbinger Wars thing. But it's still, it's very much a Harbinger book where the Harbinger Wars is just trying to introduce you to the other, powered kids and the hardcore. And there's other stuff going on, but I like Pete Stanchek's building his thing and going after Harada. And it's cool. I think this, oh wow. Some kind of crazy dude riding an elephant. Or an evil looking elephant. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, it's next month in Harbinger. Yeah, you just can't rush the elephant. Wait a month. That's too big. Next up, I've got Lazarus, issue #2. This is by Greg Rucka with art by Michael Lark. Another one I have not read the first issue of, but I am really intrigued by it. I love Michael Lark's artwork.
Yeah, great artwork.
He really does some fantastic stuff. I really loved the stuff he did on Daredevil, a while back. Teaming him up with Greg Rucka, I think is a really nice fit. As I said, I don't really know what the book is about, but it looks kind of interesting. Little, I don't know. Kind of some war-torn area or something.
And Rucka's kind of known for some kind of butt-kicking female protagonists.
Yes.
So this is kind of right up his alley.
And he's usually a little noirish at the same time, like a little kind of dark and sort of interesting stuff. Then I've got Uncanny #2. This was by Andy Diggle with art by Aaron Campbell. Yet another book I'm behind on. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm willing to give it a shot because, again, there are times when Andy Diggle is not doing things that I don't want him to do. If it's something that I don't really know anything about, he does some really cool stuff. And he also has kind of a noirish approach to things.
Very much.
Honestly, this almost looks like a Thief of Thieves a little bit. but with more action and less jibber jabber. I don't mind the jibber jabber, but a little less jibber jabber, fool.
Sometimes.
And that's the bulk of my stack. What do you got there?
I'm going to start off with Doomsday Point 1, number 3. This is John Byrne's post-apocalyptic comic book, and you can't have a good post-apocalypse without the shattered remains of the Statue of Liberty.
You blew it up. Damn you. Damn you all to hell.
This has been a pretty interesting book. Basically, some astronauts were in space when a solar flare hits the Earth and wipes out most of civilization. They come back down and they found out that there are still pockets where people have survived. In the last issue, they found a prison. In many ways, I guess this is kind of along the lines of Walking Dead, where it's just like after the apocalypse happens, look how horrible people can be trying to survive. So that's really all it is at this point. Walking Dead without zombies.
It sounded to me like the theme song from the really bad 90s Fantastic Four cartoon mixed with Thundar. And I'm in.
I mean, it's been pretty good. If you're a fan of John Byrne, you'll like this. If you're not, you probably won't.
That's a fine line, John Byrne.
For many people, I'm a John Byrne whore, so I'll keep buying it. Next up, Superior Spider-Man number 14. This has got the debut of the new costume. Apparently, it also has the Green Goblin and the Hobgoblin and the Kingpin and Spider-Man's freaky Dr. Octopus-like cybernetic arms. I don't know. We'll see. I do kind of like the costume. He is gonna kind of face down the Green Goblin, who is basically trying to take over New York City. I think it would be kind of interesting if the Green Goblin is ultimately the one that puts Otto down and brings Peter back. That would be kind of a neat twist. But we'll see. I guess now he's in charge of that island. It used to be a prison.
Oh,
and now it's Spider Island 2, and it's his new headquarters. Dan Slott's packing a lot of stuff into these. Some of it doesn't quite make a lot of sense, but I do kind of like this costume.
All right.
That's all I'll say about it. Next up, Wolverine and the X-Men. This is Hellfire Saga Part 3. The new Hellfire Club of Kids has been put together. They've this new school, basically the evil version of Xavier's school, and they've put together a new team of Hellions. Some of the characters from the Jean Grey Academy have gone over kind of undercover.
Okay.
Some of them have been found out, but they're going to be sort of transformed into villains somehow. But this is a good book. We've mentioned it many times.
Absolutely. Jason Aaron, right?
Jason Aaron, and he's writing basically just a very classic X-Men book. I mean, this was once Generation X, and before that it was New Mutants, and now it's just Wolverine and the X-Men, because having X-Men in the title sells more, and Wolverine. So it's a New Mutants book, but with
a different title, a title that'll sell.
Right. So I'm down with that. Those are always fun books when I was young. Next up, Superman number 22. This is Scott Lobdell and Eddie Barrows, whose work I really like a lot. I'm glad. I hope he's the new artist on the book. He actually drew the book briefly at the start of JMS's run.
Okay.
And then he was like doing Teen Titans for a while and Nightwing for a while. Very kind of classic Ivan Reis, Carlos Pacheco type of guy. Really good stuff. Scott Lobdell's been doing some interesting stuff in this book. We've got the Hive, and we've got Hector Hammond kind of fighting it out. So yeah, some non-Superman villains. We've got some of the repercussions of his relationship with Wonder Woman going on in this book. So it's not a great Superman book. It's a pretty solid Superman book overall. But we still haven't figured out who the final creative teams are going to be on these books when they shake out. I've heard rumor that John Romita Jr. may take over. That he got offered Superman to leave Marvel to write and draw a Superman book. I don't know if it would be this book or if they're going to make a new book for him.
Interesting.
He's never done anything.
He's never done anything at DC, has he?
Never. So they offer him the big gun to try and steal him away because his contract's ending soon. We'll see. If that's the case, I'm down with that.
Oh, for sure.
Next up, Uncanny Avengers number 10. Basically, we've got the Apocalypse Twins, and so wherever there is some sort of apocalypse, you're gonna have 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So we've got the dead Banshee, Wolverine's son Daken, the Grim Reaper, and the return of the Sentry. So a bunch of dead heroes coming back as the new Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Should be kind of interesting. Everybody hated the Sentry, and now he's back. But Banshee's back.
Sentry.
I like Banshee.
I do like Banshee.
So yeah, we got Rick Remender writing, Daniel Acuna on the art. Honestly, I'm not really sure what's going on because the three Avengers books start to blur together after a while, so I don't know which world-ending apocalypse is happening in which book. But this is the one with the Apocalypse Twins. That's all I remember.
All right.
Next up, we've got Larfleeze #2. The first issue of this was a lot of fun. I did not realize initially that the J.M. DeMatteis was scripting it.
Oh, okay.
So we've got kind of Keith Giffen sort of crazy stories and some just fantastically funny dialogue by J.M. DeMatteis and some really solid artwork.
I like him. I've always liked him.
By Scott Collins. So yeah, I mean, it's basically the writing team that did the classic Wahaha Justice League doing a relatively funny character. So I'm all in. This has been some good stuff. Larfleeze is not my favorite of the Lanterns. They have kind of figured out that he doesn't even need a lantern anymore, that he can wield the orange power all on his own. None of that really matters. This is just a funny book. Next up, we've got Justice League Dark #22. This is continuing the Trinity War. This has been some solid stuff so far.
I heard it's been good.
Basically, it's clear that some sort of magical force is messing with Superman.
Okay.
We find out that the box that Pandora used is something that predates even the Greek gods. They don't really know anything about it. So Wonder Woman, basically, when faced with some big league magic that they don't understand, she runs off and finds John Constantine in the Justice League Dark. Because the best way to deal with magic is some magicians. So it's been a pretty good crossover so far. We've had the fallout of Superman supposedly killing somebody, but now we've really learned that it wasn't him. That either, I don't know if either he didn't kill anybody or if he was not in control, but something is trying to discredit all the heroes. This reminds me a lot of that old Legends miniseries from many years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of an updated version of that.
Mid-late 80s?
Yeah, that was like around 86 or 87. This was after the Crisis. So yeah, we've got the real debut of the new DC Question in this series. And like I said, we've got the Justice League Dark kind of crossing over with... Although I think Wonder Woman actually refers to them as Justice League Dark. I don't know if they would call themselves that.
Right.
But whatever. It's still some good stuff. I mean, this has actually been a pretty interesting crossover. It's been keeping me guessing. I don't really know exactly who's behind what. And all of them have had really good artwork so far. Next up, The Unwritten #51. As is always the case with The Unwritten, I haven't read the last issue because I let them build up.
Well, that's the crossover, right?
This is the one that's crossing over with Fables. I don't really know how much you need to read Fables to get it. This is...
I don't think it's actually appearing in Fables, though.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's a Fables crossover only in Unwritten, so that stuff's coming into this.
Oh, well, that's good.
They're not going to make you go read Fables.
That's good, because I'm not reading Fables. And it does actually say here part 2 of 5, and so part 1 was the last issue. So hopefully I'll be able to understand what's going on. But the premise of Fables is pretty simple, so it's really just a matter of figuring out the characters. But like I said before, this is a solid book. I only read it a couple times a year because I'll let 4 or 5 issues build up because it really does read better that way. But it's still it's a good book. That's my stack.
Well, I guess that brings me to the top of my stack here. I'm looking at this is Clone #9. I really like this book, and I feel like I kind of had to make it the top. What with the announcements that came out of San Diego, so it looks like everybody's mining the Kirkman properties. This is Skybound. This isn't Kirkman writing or anything, but this is one of his properties, and he seems to be a sure bet. A lot of the networks seem to think so. Universal NBC has actually optioned a pilot. They want to check it out, and I believe the guy who writes this book, Schulner. Is his name? David Schulner is going to be writing the script for that pilot, and it kind of sounds neat. I mean, I'm sure NBC is probably chomping at the bit to get something because apparently they originally were offered Walking Dead and passed on it because they didn't want a zombie series. So, way to go, NBC! Good work out there. But now they're giving this clone a shot, and I like this book. It is kind of weird. It's taken some really weird turns. Basically, what if there were lots of clones of yourself and someone's killing them, and you have an opportunity to save them? It's some really, really neat stuff. There are good versions of this guy, some not so good versions of this guy, and there's kind of a government conspiracy thing involved too, which is where all the clones came from in the first place. Good book. I really dig it. I think the artwork is solid. It is, I believe, Juan Jose Rip is doing the artwork. Really, really cool stuff. Cool. That's my top pick.
Well, my top pick is Superman Unchained #1, which was a top pick not too long ago. But this is the director's cut. And what I really like about this, part of it is it's got the script for the issue reprinted in there, which is kind of cool. But the main reason is the entire issue is in black and white, and it is shot from Jim Lee's pencils. Yeah. So this is before it's inked and before it's colored. And they've done this several times with Jim Lee books. They actually put Hush out entirely in pencil form. And it's fantastic. I really love Jim Lee's work. I love seeing his pencils. It's a really kind of neat way to look at the process. You can grab this, compare it to what I actually saw print. You really see how much Scott Williams brings to the table. Jim Lee is an incredibly tight penciler, but he also leaves a lot of looseness in terms of kind of what the actual lines play out as. So it's a really cool, if you're kind of a process junkie with comics, it's a nice way to compare the two. And just seeing this beautiful pencil work with all the subtlety.
It is really pretty.
It's great stuff. I almost wish black and white comics were viable enough for Marvel and DC that they could actually try stuff like this on a regular basis, but that's probably not
black and white. Shoot yourself right in the foot, though.
Yeah. So I get it, but it's nice that they do this. Oh, they actually just printed all on one page, so you can actually see the 4 pieces of individual paper that were put together. I actually never opened up the poster.
I did
on mine, so this will be the first time I actually get to see it, and it's just a big spaceship.
Yeah,
that's no fun. But in any event, if you're a fan of Jim Lee's artwork like I am, there's the big Superman shot from the other side of the poster. If you're a fan of Jim Lee's artwork, or if you're a fan of just seeing how comics are done, this is a great way to kind of look behind the curtain at the process a little bit. And I was actually, I mentioned this on Facebook a while back about some people who were complaining that Jim Lee's artwork looks too 90s. But Jim Lee's artwork doesn't look like the 90s. The 90s looks like Jim Lee's artwork. He's the one that kind of defined that style, the way like Jack Kirby defined the 60s and Neil Adam in many ways, and Bernie Wrights and those guys. All those people were imitating Jim Lee. He drew like that before everybody else. And he still draws like that. And if it looks like the 90s, that's because the entire decade copied this one guy.
Right.
And you can see why. Looking at these pencils, is some fantastic stuff.
It really is. Yeah, that's kind of a cool book. That's what I thought was funny when I saw that in your stack. I was like, really? He's doing a rerun?
Yep. Director's cut.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
Yep.
Well, with that is your Week in Geek.